Shooting stars, lighting up the sky before burning out young and living on only in memories. Others seem to spend an eternity making their farewells, all the time never knowing quite when it's time to quit. Some performers, however, just seem to keep on going forever, never losing the magic that helps them pull an audience. So it is with one of New South Wales's most distinguished and celebrated sons, the honey-voiced singer Jimmy Little. After undergoing a kidney transplant and suffering the onset of crippling diabetes, the Yorta Yorta man who was born in a shack on the banks of the Murray River is back travelling the country again, performing and working to raise awareness about Indigenous health. He's also just re-recorded the song that first made him a household name in Australia almost 50 years ago. Nick Grimm reports.
All my life I've been waiting, tonight there'll be no hesitating, no boy.
Give Jimmy Little a guitar and any kind of audience, and you can't stop the songs coming out of the man who's been officially recognised as a national living treasure.
Hello, Mary Lou.
But this is the kind of bloke who's very down-to-earth about his fame and how he thinks his fans see him.
I'm so in love with you.
Oh, there's that old man. I saw him when he was 25. I saw him when he was 32. I saw him when he was 48. I saw him when he was 50. Here I am in my 70s now, and there's something within me and something in my presentation that still resembles the long time me. And I like to have back-to-back, side-by-side, the old and the new, and in the middle is a lot of truth. Away, blow away, down below, down below.
In a career that stretched over half a century, Jimmy Little has been inducted into the music industry's ARIA Hall of Fame and received the Order of Australia Medal. Now he's determined not to let diabetes and a kidney transplant stand in the way of doing what he loves best, performing.
I guess I've been long enough because my kidneys retired before me. I got diabetes after kidney failure and not before, and with that happening, diabetes is the thing that's crippling me.
Half a century ago, Jimmy Little was just setting out on the journey that many might have thought then would have been almost impossible for a young Indigenous man. The song that helped launch that journey was called Royal Telephone.
Made by God the Father for his very own. You may talk to Jesus on this royal telephone.
On Bandstand, when Brian Henderson introduced it, and all of a sudden they saw an Aboriginal man singing a song that would become a #1 hit.
You may talk to Jesus on this royal telephone.
It was his first hit in 1963, it was a #1 hit, and it became Jimmy's signature song. So much so that I don't think he ever does a show where he doesn't sing Royal Telephone.
Times were very different when Jimmy Little started out as a singer. One of his first recordings was a song his father had written for him, called Give the Coloured Boy a Chance. And he toured the country as part of what was then referred to as an all-coloured show. But as the first Indigenous entertainer to achieve mainstream success in this country, Jimmy Little found his life transformed with record deals, TV appearances and even film roles.
In this my home, the land where I was born.
Finding stardom also gave him a new freedom to speak his mind.
Tonight, I'm not appearing as Jimmy Little the singer, but as Jimmy Little, a member of a very proud race. My people, the Aborigines, the first Australians.
Telephone to glory, oh what joy divine.
The recent launch of the re-recording of Royal Telephone wasn't one of those extravagant record company affairs. There were no publicists there to manage Jimmy Little's image, no minders to control his movements. No, this was more of a personal project for a man who knows his music career is reaching its twilight.
You may talk to Jesus on the royal.
So are these two versions of Royal Telephone, are they in effect bookends to your career?
Exactly. A few songs I've sung and I sing differently on stage. That to me is also a bookend of me then and me here now. And in the middle, it's still the one heart, the one spirit, the one voice, and the one personality. Till the phone to glory. Oh, what
Like Jimmy Little, record producer Martin Erdman is a music industry veteran. He recorded his friends singing his old hit in the hallway of his Sydney home.
on the line.
Yeah, we got a lovely sound. It was just a very relaxed sound. There was no pressure because he wasn't in a studio. He was in a home singing the vocals. He was well that day, and it just came out beautifully. And even in 10 years, his voice has matured even further. He's always been known as having a velvety, honey voice, but I think it's even more velvety now.
But despite what his record producer says, the singer himself is a much tougher critic of his performance.
Voice-wise, it's not the same voice naturally with my age. Performing, I'm limited now, and I've made a new plan for my body and my life. In the remaining years that I'll be in a public eye, I'll be doing a lot less than what I used to do. If you can imagine me on stage for an hour and a half singing my heart out, which I used to do, like all singers, I can only do about 30 minutes now.
Time the kangaroo down, sport. Time the kangaroo.
One more time.
Time the kangaroo down.
When Stateline caught up with Jimmy Little, he was guest of honour for a gathering of what's known as the Debonaires, a group made up of many of his old friends and supporters from the entertainment business. They gather once a month to catch up, do lunch and celebrate Glory's former, present and future. They also work to ensure that any fellow entertainers who fall on hard times get a helping hand and aren't forgotten.
I remember you. You're the one.
Just like their longtime friend, fellow crooners Frank Ifield and Barry Crocker have known stardom, and they know how tough it is to make the entertainment business a lifetime career.
He's still learning it.
It's lovely to have my dear old friend of, 50 years now, Jimmy Little, back singing songs and enjoying himself. He's had a wonderful day here today. All his friends and family have been here. We've joined in his songs with him, and it's been a celebration of a life.
And I love reminiscing. I love the past, and I look at the past sometimes and say, gee, I value me living in that era, and there are some things in the past I would have changed had I been able to, but not the joy things of the past remain with me to promote and stimulate the present.
So you have no fear of the Jimmy Little of 2009 being compared alongside the Jimmy Little of 1963?
No, I see it this way, that it's a continuation of a quality within the person that is shared by the quality of appreciation by the audience. So the difference was today, this is Jimmy Little today, singing the song of yesterday.
Nowadays, Jimmy Little has lent his name, not to mention his enthusiasm and his energy, to the Jimmy Little Foundation, which works to raise awareness about and combat the high rate of kidney disease and diabetes among Indigenous Australians.
He wins the audience. He's only got to be out on stage for a few minutes, and he's got the audience in his hands. And that's, I think, why people love him.
Jimmy Little's also intent on doing as much performing as his 72-year-old body will allow, knowing that music can be a strong medicine for both the performer and his audience.
Let them know that I'm still 100%, 10% Jimmy Little, in the spirit, in the heart, in the mind and in the memory.
Thank you, Jimmy Little, and thanks, Nick. Before we go, don't forget that Stateline videos are now available to you on our New South Wales News and Current Affairs site.